Hey folks, this is Randy Shea, Victor, New York. Today I'm at the Victor Farmington Library. I wanted to get this message out. I'm sending it out to let you know. Most of you do not know, I'm almost positive, do not know, because I'm talking to people that actually work for the village and other places right here, right in the village. They do not know that there is a vote to increase the taxes for the library coming up next on the 27th of June. Today is the 21st of June. First thing I want to get out of the way though is I want you to know that right in the section below the video, I'm also giving you a link to the library website and the Facebook page so you can look at whatever they've got to say about things. If you want to get informed, go to the source first and foremost. Now, that's not to say what I have to say is not at least partially informed in a very positive way. Now, I also want to make it clear that people can be a friend of the library and a friend to the taxpayers at the same time. And right now, I'm basically advocating you vote no for the library budget. I'll tell you why. I believe they don't need it, first and foremost. And then also some of the stuff that they were trying to get out recently, the director, I was like, who the heck told you to say this stuff? It was like, I don't buy into it. So like I said, make up your own mind, watch this video, do your research, but the vote is also, it's not only at a weird time where most people go and they realize it's going to be a proposal that's on along with the budget proposal and the board members that are voted in at Victor Central School District. That's what people are used to, and it wasn't there this year. But not only is it a weird time in the end of June, June 27th, but it's in a place that, a lot of people that vote for the Victor Central School District, this is a Victor Central School District completely, about 40% of Farmington, all of Victor, and a couple other, little spots in different municipalities. But the thing is you don't know. Even the people living in the village, a lot of them I say, hey, you got to go to the village hall. Oh, is that place over there with the memorial and stuff in the front of it? No, I said that's the town hall. That's not the village hall. And there's people right here in the village that don't even know. More or less people in Farmington. So you got to find out. It's number 60 East Main Street. Number 60 East Main Street. I'll try to put a map out, but you got to go there on the 27th of June, 2024, if you want to vote on whether or not you want to pass the budget. Maybe your answer will be yes. But let me tell you a couple things. First off, go right to the source. Go right to their website. You will find out that for the last couple of years, they have been running a surplus of over, what they call it, a profit of around 200,000. One year it was a little more than 200,000. The other year was just a little bit less, but around 200,000 a year on a budget that they actually, what the operating expenses are is under 700,000. All right, so that's the real deal. Okay, so what that means is when they're running a surplus, that means they're overtaxing you. Okay, when they're getting a profit that much higher, it's almost 20%, 25%, or very close to that, higher than what they actually are spending, then there's a problem. So I think. So I'm a friend of the library, but I'm also a friend of the taxpayers. And they just don't need this tax increase. Their tax increase is 9%. Now, if you look at the history of the tax increases, they were way higher than that the last couple of years before they tried for the new library build out, which got voted down by a margin of, I think, more than 2-1, a couple of years ago. So the thing is that my friend, George Heltz, he's a CFO, he knows his numbers. But anyway, he's a lot better at just cutting to the chase and putting out why things should be done or shouldn't be done. And he basically helped me to say, oh yeah, this is important. Now I told him a couple of years ago, yeah, I know they're overcharging us. I know it's going to build up their capital fund. I know, but unless they ask for another increase, let's lay low. Let's just, whatever happens, happens. Most people did not really go into any of the number crunching and understanding, really what was going on with that library build out. They just saw 300% higher tax, and that was the reason. But there were a lot of reasons that that particular build out was wrong for the Victor. One, it would have taken it out of the central business district, but that's past. We're talking about now. All right, so I was at a meeting recently, and the director of the library, which I like, and I think he's doing a great job, so no offense, but he was talking about how there were some misconceptions. Well, there's no misconceptions. You had a surplus. It's called a profit. It's right on your financial statement. It wasn't a misconception at all. Now, as to how much money of that 200,000 plus 200,000, basically 400,000 in the last couple of years, was actually spent, well, it got spent down some. It didn't all go into the capital reserve. So, or maybe it did, but it got spent. Okay, so what did it get spent on? Then you go ahead and look at what the library has to say on that, so you can research it yourself. So he said that the truth, they only have about 154,000, I think it was, in their capital expenditure or capital reserve fund, and it's wise to have a capital reserve fund. For how much of one, that's questionable, but it is wise for expenses, like if they need air conditioners or they need some kind of renovation on the building. They're staying at this building, so they have 154,000, I think, now. This year, without the tax increase, yes, they're going to have some added expenses, but that capital reserve fund is probably going to go up. All right, it's probably going to go up more than that because they don't have all the leftover expenses after the library failed to pass. Okay, look into that too. There's some more information about that really seems fishy, but that's a different thing. That's a past battle. All right, so I'm telling you about all this stuff to tell you to vote no. They don't need the money. All right, they make this argument, okay, that in 2025, not 2024, they might be running a deficit. Now, if they do run a deficit, they got money in the capital reserve fund. They can spend that money. They don't have to cut the programs. They don't have to cut payroll. They can afford the 25% increase in the health insurance. And by the way, that sounds like a lot. You know, there's inflation and all this, insurance prices going up for the health insurance plan. Okay, fine. I don't know if it's apples to apples or they're increasing benefits that they get, whatever it is, but it's 25% more. That sounds like a lot, right? But on a total budget of the employee salary and everything else and benefits, it's probably only about 3% or 4%. So this is why I'm saying that whoever gave the director their talking points, it really is slanted, just like maybe some people would say 3% higher, 300% higher taxes was just cherry picking a specific thing that got people out to vote no against the previous library. I think that's cherry picking the numbers too, because it's probably not going to increase the actual payroll overall if they have the same amount of people working now and they all have to pay 25% of the library, and maybe they're going to be picking up the cost of that, or sometimes it's a shared cost. Look in the numbers. I mean, it's just a little thing off the top that he basically said that made it sound like, oh man, that's 25% more. They're only asking for a 9% increase. Sorry. Getting back to this, they've been overtaxing us. Okay, that's why they've been running these surpluses, this profit, and they have money in the capital reserve in case they do run into a deficit in 2025. Okay, in case they do. They didn't say they were going to. They said it could happen. Right. So they don't need the money this year. The library vote, let's see, what was the other thing? There was another thing. Oh yeah, he was saying, oh yeah, this is really shifty in my opinion in terms of how you could present some of the numbers and make it sound like it's really good. Basically, there are people that just make private donations to the library. It's a small percent. Most of it is from taxes, big time. I don't know. You can look at the pie chart. It tells you exactly how much of the information. But what they said was that 2/3 of the surplus, the profit, is coming from people making private donations. That's shady. That's shifty. Honestly, basically, that's a combination of taxpayers. I mean, you don't just say, okay, well, all of the surplus is attributed to donations. No. That's a combination, and it should be split out. The real way of doing it, I think, fair and objective way, is to say some of that money came in from private donations, but you've got to take the total revenue, basically divide how much of it came from taxpayers, how much came in from donations. donations, etc. So I thought that was sort of, I don't know, just, you know, they're trying to sell people on the property or on the property tax. It's a library tax. They're trying to sell you on that they need this when they don't. They're trying to scare you into thinking that library workers are going to get underpaid or they're going to have to cut programs, when that will not happen. I will positively guarantee you that. Unless they decide to do it just to prove me wrong, there would be no reason to do that when they have money in the capital reserve. So this is a long video, but I'm getting it out to some people. I might put it out public. I'm going to get it out to some people. Basically, they're counting on a low turnout, because, like I said, it's at a time when nobody's expecting. Most people still don't know about it, and people in Farmington, especially, they won't even know where the village hall is. They'll probably go up to the school thinking that the vote is there, and they'll probably won't have signs up at the school saying you got to go to the library, you know, and people will be confused and all that. And the information, yes, it's out there, and it is quote unquote public. But I don't think the library is going to go out of the way to make sure people from Farmington are going to know where the Victor Village Hall is. Number 60 East Main Street. In behind, across from the town hall, in behind, you got to park, public parking. That's where they're going to have the vote. So, surprise, it wasn't done when the normal time, when we were all expecting that maybe they would be asked for some increase. It wasn't done during the normal situation up at the school. So a lot of people said, oh, well, the library's not asking for anything. Let's go to do our gardening. Let's go on and do our lives and all that other stuff. Surprise, they are asking for a tax increase, a 9% tax increase. Vote no on the library. You can be a friend of the library, which I am. I appreciate it. I like that they're here and I like what they do. And a friend of the taxpayers at the same time. And that's where most of us are. So vote no to this. Let them have a year to explain why in 2025 they need to increase the taxes. And that's what I got to say. Hopefully you not only listen to this message, but you share it with people that should at least have a right to know. It says, like right in the beginning of the video, there's links to what the library has to say on it. I'm putting that right there. Don't just take what I say and say, oh, I'm voting no because Randy's voting no. I'm saying vote no because it really doesn't make sense. They don't need the money. That's it. Have a great day.